Hello, everybody, and good evening, and welcome to the Reel McCoy. I'm your host, Mephisto, and with me, always my hetero life mate. Oh, my feelings. Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening, buddy.
What is the Reel McCoy? The Reel McCoy is your weekly podcast where we discuss movies, a movie of the week, and all of that good stuff. We break it down. We kind of give you the lowdown and information on the ins and outs. Every time I change this intro, and always sucks. Always sucks. Basically, we want you to go and watch a movie and then come back to us and we can nerd out on it, geek out on it, and along the way, kind of break it down with a few segments that give this a light-hearted feeling. Before we start, let's do the thing. If you have any suggestions or do you want to interact with us, please at Mephisto on Twitter. If you don't like Twitter, if you like Instagram, Mephisto79 on Instagram. If you don't want that, we've got your email, Mephisto79 at gmail.com for all your email needs. And if not, there's always comment section down below. But before we start everything, let's introduce our guest for today, right on time and on cue, the lovely, the luscious, the wonderful Bad Bella with Clinch. Clinch. Bad Bella, I'm sorry. I did send out the link about 20 minutes before. And I was late because I said 30.
No, you're fine. It was me. I literally had a repairman here, and I'm just like, I gotta go. We gotta wrap this up. We gotta go. And he's like, oh, well, you have to be present. I'm like, please.
Dude, these guys start on time. There is no way. You need to get the fuck out.
Right.
Yeah.
Please.
All right. So, if you want to follow Bad Bella, because like I said, I haven't prepared anything. So your Twitch is Bad Bella Gaming.
Bad Bella Games. Just games. Yeah.
So if you want to follow Bella, you go to Bad Bella Games right there. And if you want to follow Bad Bella on Twitch, I'll have that prepared in a second. Follow Bad Bella on. Oh, come on, dude. Give me the edit.
Hold on. I got something better for you. Hold on. Yeah, just Bad Bella Games on Twitch, Bad Bella ENT on Insta. So
there we go.
Just easy.
There we go. Right there. Right? And the same on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. So let's get into the meat and potatoes, because you came in right at the introductions, so you haven't missed a single thing. So as we do this, we start off with behind the scenes with Oh My Feelings. Give us the lowdown on Die Hard.
So, this is by far one of the most interesting movies to actually do behind the screens about, because this was actually originally an adaptation of a novel called Nothing Lasts Forever, which was actually a sequel of a novel that was written beforehand that starred Frank Sinatra in its film adaptation called True Detective. Yes, I know, not that one.
No, it's not True Detective.
So not True.
Actually,
The
Detective.
The Detective. Sorry.
Hey, I didn't write your notes.
Yeah, I know. The screenwriter, Stewart, was actually inspired by two major things in his first draft. One, the novelization of that, which had not even been released yet, by the way, before they greenlit the film.
Yeah.
And also the Towering Inferno, which is the reason why it's based in that really tall building in Nakatomi Plaza.
Yeah.
Moving on from there, John McTiernan, the director of the film, was only hired on after the massive success of another film that we reviewed, Meth.
Predator.
And he said that he would only sign on if the film had levity and it wasn't just grimdark terrorist film where just like the bad guy goes in and shoots them all up and that's it. Yeah. He wanted some comedy, he wanted some levity. That's where you get a lot of the more comedic and lighter moments from. Moving on from there, John McClane was actually originally named John Ford.
That doesn't have a click for me.
It was actually, it's funny, Bella, that you say that. It was turned down because one of the most prolific directors in early Hollywood was named John Ford, and he had just recently died. Oh. So they said, no, we can't do that. No.
We're all about the levity here. You don't want to go dark.
Yeah. Yeah.
So John Ford was a real big shot director in Hollywood.
Yeah. So everyone thought, well, Stewart, the screenwriter, thought that McClane sounded like a good, strong family kind of name. So they went with that. And again, moving back to the detective, speaking of the casting of the role of John McClane, they were contractually obligated after the release of the detective to offer the role initially to Frank Sinatra to play it again.
Because he was involved with the first movie, and he was the one that asked the guy who wrote the original novel to write the second novel.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Frank Sinatra, being 70, went, no, I'm good.
No.
Yeah.
Then the role was offered to, think of every 80s action star and every 80s even major actor you can think of, Bella. The role was offered to them.
Oh my gosh.
Everyone turned it down.
Yeah. So was offered to Arnold because he worked with John McTiernan. Turned it down. The funny thing about Schwarzenegger was he turned it down because he wanted to do comedy, and he did Twins next. Yes. Exactly. and
Uh-uh.
Stallone was offered it and turned it down. James Caan turned it down. Who else? I think they wanted to give it to
Al
Al
Pacino turned it down.
Yeah.
Robert Redford turned it down. Robert De Niro turned it down.
Clint Eastwood turned it down just because he didn't understand the humor in it.
Of it, yeah. He couldn't get it.
It's so weird. And they gave it to not only to a TV actor at the time, which is Bruce Willis, who did Moonlighting.
Well, what's funny though is that Bruce Willis had to turn it down initially because of his Moonlighting shooting schedule.
Did he?
Yes, initially he had to, but his casting calls the time that he had to be on set was actually toned down because Sybil Shepherd got pregnant. And so she couldn't be on film, so they couldn't do the full 12-hour shoot days in order to get Moonlighting out fast enough. So he had restricted shoot times. So he was able to take the role, and at the time it was a very controversial decision because he was paid $5 million for this role. At the time, making him one of the highest paid actors.
No. The highest paid actors in the business, causing both Arnold Schwarzenegger and Stallone to say, what now?
What? Yeah.
A TV actor.
But what's also really funny, too, is the fact that he was... Bruce Willis is an absolute workhorse. Bella, what he would do during the day is he would go on set, shoot stuff for Moonlighting, then at night, film Die Hard.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's a workhorse. That's a man who is working his ass off.
Exactly. All right. Shall we give us one more thing? And we have a few more others that we can, splice in.
I was going to say the only other two things real quick is that Holly McClane, it's Bonnie Bedelia, was really, she was actually handpicked by Bruce Willis to play Holly McClane after he saw her perform in stage play. He loved her acting so much, he would no, I want her to play Holly McClane.
Yeah, they had problems. Yeah, they had problems casting the role because they wanted a sexy lady. Because it's the 80s, they want a sexy lady, and they couldn't find one they were happy with. And Bruce Willis said, "Well, you have to have an actress to have a strong-willed actress to oppose John, because he's a strong-willed individual, because he's not a weakling. A weakling couldn't handle doing the whole terrorist thing. Only a strong-minded person who is persevering, and you have to have an opposite side, because otherwise they won't be on the same plane when they argue. That there's a scene where they argue in her office.
Yep.
She has to stand toe to toe with him. So the chemistry should be that they're a fighting couple. So that's why he went for her.
Then moving on from there to moving back to the contentious relationship between John McClane and Holly McClane, that was actually written as a narrative that Stewart, the original screenwriter, wrote in after he had a really bad argument with his wife, and then had nearly a very, very near fatal car accident.
Yeah.
And so what he wanted John McClane to be a character that personified that notion of, hey, I never got to apologize to my wife and tell her how I really feel. And that's how the big setup comes in when he's even going out there to begin with. And throughout the entire film, you can tell that he still loves and really cares about Holly. And obviously, too, he cares about all the hostages too, because he's a police officer. He actually does care, and these are good cops, Bella too, not the terrible ones we deal with now.
All
right. Let's have a little bit of levity, because this whole movie is filled with moments of pure action, and such great levity to like ease you into things. I love it when it eases you into things. So John McClane lands after has a little bit of conversation with this guy who is some sort of a roving salesman or something like that.
Just get on the ground and then ball your feet. Trust me, I've been doing this for 10 years. And then when he gets up to his overhead compartment, he sees his gun and goes, "Oh, don't worry about it. I'm a cop. I've been doing it for 14 years." Which, side note, it doesn't matter if you're an off-duty cop. You can't carry a gun onto a plane.
Now you can.
Right.
Now you can. You used to. Anyway, what I was gonna say. That whole bit in the plane literally sets up the whole point of John McClane having no shoes, which you don't think about it when it's a regular like action movie. You don't even think about it. Oh, of course you have shoes. It's like in Predator they have like army boots and whatever. You have this and that. You don't think about a man's shoes. It's like from Shawshank Redemption. You never look at a man's shoes, right? Mm-hmm. In this one, they wanted to make it so different that they had an extra obstacle of not having any shoes for McClane, and that sets up almost the last scene of the last action scene.
Which, by the way, I have a real big stickler with.
I know
we'll get to it because it's like
there's one thing that
doesn't make any sense there.
But it also sets up a lot of levity moments where, like, after he does his first kill, the shoes don't match, or one of the kills he tries to get the shoes, but they don't match.
It was Carl's brother where he goes, "Oh yeah, give it to me. The one guy I kill has ladies' feet."
Exactly.
Go, wow, that's cold-blooded.
So we start off with Argyle.
And, oh my God, Argyle!
This guy is fucking awesome, man.
One of my first notes in this, is actually going through the movie, is Argyle and Al Powell are the most influential characters in a film that do almost literally nothing throughout the course of the film.
Yeah.
Besides providing some discourse and everything, but then they have two of the most pivotal scenes.
Yeah.
In stopping, like, in halting, one halts the bad guys from getting away, and the other one actually prevents, John McClane from being killed at the end.
Yeah.
By breaking his own rule. They're the most, like, two underutilized and really just, like, downplayed best side characters in film. Yeah. I love him. This Argyle, by the way, is fucking hilarious.
Oh, he's fucking hilarious. Oh, Bella's gone. She's out. No, she's good. Anyway, Argyle, our boy here, Argyle, is like, he puts on, I like it that when he puts on like music, and it's definitely not Christmas music, and John is ticked off. It's like, can you have like good Christmas music? He says, This is Christmas music. And I like the fact that they're so like, Argyle is driving the limo for the first time, and John rides a limo for the first time, and they're both in the front seat talking to each other as if they're like buddies that just ran into each other. And it just puts you in a tone of, if it's not the music in the car, there's a very distinct like dramatical music or dramatical theme when he steps out of the car, puts you in mind of, oh, this is not what you think. This is weird. Right. That's the first thing.
I don't think, if anything, I don't think it's weird. I think more than anything, it really shows that John McClane as a character can see, not really see the good in people. He just perceives that people are not genuinely, malicious. So he's just like, okay, it's okay. I can have a conversation with them. So the banter between him and Argyle, I found really interesting just from the bat, just again, reviewing it for the 1,000th time that I've seen this movie.
Of course.
Actually,
anyway,
I have something to input on this.
Yeah,
I feel
sure.
like their relationship was very Batman, Dick Grayson, because it was like he was getting annoyed. It seemed like he had a little veil of annoyance by Argyle's just like bubbliness, but at the same time, he liked talking to him.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like, he's like, could you just... I like this part. Man. Yeah, exactly. I like this part where it's the first ever on-screen touch screen in anywhere I've
Oh
seen
yeah,
it.
and he goes, oh
apart
yeah,
from
yeah. Also he goes, nice toy. He goes,
yeah.
yeah. What is it? What does the guard say? He goes, yeah, if you press the right buttons, it helps you take a piss. It was something like that he
Yeah,
says.
something like that. And it also the whole point of this whole thing is just to make John McClane be annoyed with Holly having a different last name, but it
Oh well,
comes up
she went back to her
again.
maiden name.
Yeah,
That's what she did.
but it comes up again when he goes into his office, making this part really stupid. And I'll tell you why. Because
Well,
he's like, he says to the guard, "Oh, I need to be on the 30th floor because that's her office. That's where her office is." But he says, "Oh yeah, everybody's on the 30th floor. It's the party." So why didn't you say so in the first? They're the only people in the building.
yeah, it's true.
Exactly. There. Moving on. I'm just gonna move forward, real forward. Okay.
Okay.
We have mostly what I'm gonna skip is their conversation in her office, like we talked about. Him balling his feet on the floor, and of course they meet Ellis, who is
Well, they meet Ellis, and they also meet Takagi.
Takagi as well. So that's just
her boss.
just gonna jump ahead just because of time restraints and everything, and we get to meet the villains, who, by the way, there's a great cinematic shot. There's a great cinematic shot where they drive in. So there's a car driving in and a truck moving in, and there's a shot that follows the car and the truck, and the truck it literally follows the car, and the truck goes down into the. Cinematically, it looks great. And then we meet up and we see our boy.
Oh.
Hans Gruber.
Wait,
now we're gonna let Bella talk here.
Okay.
Please
First
tell
of all, Alan Rickman, aka Terrorist Professor Snape. This man is fucking amazing. Let me just say that.
Yeah.
He's been acting his entire life. Beautiful ass voice. And I don't mean to skip forward a little bit, but I don't know if he faked that American accent. But
he did.
We're gonna talk about it, but yes, he did.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he did.
This man is amazing. I just had to say that. Just looking at him, I'm just like, God, I love him so much. He deserves more accolades. He gets accolades, but he deserves more because he's just a bomb actor.
Which, by the way, if you like him in this, watch Dogma.
I feel like I've seen that.
Bella, if you haven't
Years
watched
ago.
Dogma, you should definitely watch Dogma.
Oh yeah, watch Dogma because if you love Alan Rickman now.
Yes.
And he was in a good form.
Anyway,
he was in his form.
Alan Rickman, before this movie, did zero movies. Zero. Not in Britain, not in the US, nothing. He was a stage actor. I'm not even sure he did TV back in the UK. Not even sure.
He was actually really well known for his Shakespearean roles.
Especially
Macbeth and Henry V.
Yeah, exactly. So he was very much a stage actor, but they wanted a guy. The specifics were a European, well-dressed, and very composed. So, and they didn't want like over the top. So they didn't go with Patrick Stewart. They went with Alan Rickman, and Alan Rickman said yes because whatever, right?
They were considering Dolph Lundgren for the role at one point in time, but they assumed
that
it would have
been bad.
It would have been horrendous.
That would have been
Dolph
bad.
Lundgren. Yeah, he's a good action film protagonist because there is literally nothing that he does outside of that he really needs to do. Yes, he was a good villain as Ivan Drago, don't be wrong. But if you look at what he did as Ivan Drago, think of the lines that he said as Ivan Drago.
Yeah,
they're all memorable because there are so few of them.
He could have been a great Carl, but that that actually went to a ballet dancer, which is another weird thing in this movie.
Yeah,
the guy who played Carl was a ballet dancer in training.
Yeah.
Yes, Bella. Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You make me look this up. So good.
Go ahead. His name is Gloshkov, not Barishnikov, but he's like I'm not even sure he's Swedish.
Oh, I see.
Romanov, something like that. So the guys come into the building. Theo does his thing, close everything up. Also, I like that the guy who did Theo was really, really good because he brought levity to the
antagonist.
To the robbers. He brought levity to the robbers, which was a great thing because all the dealings he had with Hans is always with like funny quips.
It's all tongue in cheek.
Everything's tongue in cheek. He comes in and he does the most LA line, which is they talk about the Laker game from last night.
Yeah,
Worthy and Magic. I was like, oh yes.
Oh yeah, Worthy and Magic, and then he gets the guard's attention, and then as soon as he turns,
and Carl just blasts him. Exactly. So we go back to Hans, and I like this where
Mr. Takagi. Oh God.
What he does here is he goes around. He gives a little bit of history of Mr. Takagi. And my feeling was when, I don't know if it was written that way, I'm sure somebody could say, but when they wrote this scene, it seems like Hans actually knows who Takagi is, not only by what he does or the history of the man, he actually knows his face. He wanted to know if he can fish him out, which he does.
Yeah, possibly.
And he gave a whole bunch of history, which is awesome. And we basically
that's the story. But I love the fact that this movie again, still like it's in 1988, but it is so quintessentially 80s that Takagi's first instinct is go. It doesn't matter what you do. I can't give you the schematics or the drawings,
the codes of the
codes of the computer that we're building that's going to make the company all the money, because that's what they think of. They think like this is the most hostile version of a hostile takeover in corporate history.
Exactly.
All right.
But no, and that's the big twist. There is I love that Hans immediately goes, no. This is about the $660 million you've got down there in fucking unrestricted fucking bearer bonds. That's what this is about.
Yeah, setting up, by the way, the whole franchise. All right? This actually sets the whole franchise because whatever you think Die Hard is, it is always, until they changed it, always about a heist.
Yeah.
Every single Die Hard story, I haven't seen the last one, but up till the fourth one, every single Die Hard story eventually can be boiled down to a heist. And now, why is it that this movie, it started off as a heist anyway? Because John McTiernan turned this movie down. John McTiernan, the director, turned this movie down at least 4 times because the original script said terrorists.
Yep.
He didn't want to do a terrorist-based movie. So he asked for the production crew. By the way, Joel Silver, which is Jerry Bruckheimer, but in the 80s.
Yep.
Joel Silver said, well, fine. What do you want to change? He said, I want to change it to robbers because robbers are more fun-loving. I can do more stuff.
Well, but robbers. Also, I love the fact that they kept that terrorist, the
exactly.
quote-unquote the terrorist angle as a way that Hans Gruber is so intelligent. The fact that he could utilize that as an angle where he goes, I'm actually going to play the police. I'm going to play the FBI. I'm going to play everyone that's going to try to stop us against us by utilizing their own playbook against themselves.
Against terrorists rather than
just even robbers. later on that there is one bit, but I'll just go ahead and say it now, where he goes like, yeah, and we also want to free the person from the Chinese Red Dawn. He literally pulls a phone like, I don't know, I read about it in Time magazine.
Yeah. It's like,
like,
who's Red Dawn?
Yes!
I read it somewhere. Just read it somewhere. So he executes Takagi because Takagi doesn't want to give him any codes.
Yeah.
And
what's the first thing that he says to everyone that is sitting outside at the party? Because this line is fucking hilarious. Because he walks out, he sits down and goes, well, I hope everyone's joined the party. I'm sorry, but Mr. Takagi won't be joining us for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
And then everybody goes, ah!
And everybody, he says it so nonchalant. It was like, he was, he's not going to join us for the rest of his life. And everybody's like this. I like it. Anyway, so let's break it down and do our first segment of the night already, because we didn't let Bella talk. So now she has the floor. All right. What is our first segment of the night? As you remember, Bella, we take posters, take off their text, and bring it to you raw and wriggling, and you will guess which movie is it. It is 10 posters, no time limit, but do it quickly.
Okay.
Let me set it up. Here we go. If you want me to punch in, let's punch in.
Sir, I'd like to answer.
Oh my gosh. I've never seen this. I know the actors, of course. Harrison Ford, James Bond. I can't tell who she is. I feel like I know who she is, though.
It's Olivia Wilde.
Olivia Wilde.
Oh, it is. Oh, wow. With long hair, I'm not used to seeing. Okay. I have no idea.
I know it, sir.
Oh, my goodness.
Biffer knew it, too. It is
know.
Cowboys and Aliens. Cowboys versus Aliens.
I've never seen that movie.
It's a terrible movie. You're not missing anything.
Really?
It's okay.
It's bad.
Missed it.
Oh.
It's YouTube safe. Trust me.
I'm like, wait a minute now. This looks like one of those books you get.
I don't know.
Whoops. Sorry.
Well, it's fine.
Whoops.
Sorry, Meth, are you sure you didn't accidentally open up your Spank Bank files all of a sudden?
No, it's not that one. I keep that in the secret stash file, dude.
I'm just going to throw a shot in the dark, and I know this is wrong. I don't know why. I'm thinking, no, it can't be Sleepless in Seattle. That's not how the cover looks.
It's not Sleepless in Seattle. No,
That's
he
not how the
never.
cover looks.
He definitely doesn't touch her butt in Sleepless in Seattle. It is not The Graduate, because The Graduate was 69, and I don't think it would be proper to show that much skin in 69.
Right.
Not on a poster. Not on a poster.
No.
Right.
It is.
Want to say not Basic Instinct. No. I'm thinking,
no.
It is.
No.
Dark hair.
Disclosure.
Sure. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's a deep cut.
Yep.
Oh my god, Harrison Ford, I'm so sorry. I'm so
My Feelings,
sorry.
you know this one? You're thinking.
Is that just Air Force One?
No. No, it is not Air Force One. No.
So it's not Air Force One, then it's not The Fugitive. Is
Not
it Clear and
The
Present
Wait,
Danger?
It's not The Fugitive?
It's not Clear and Present Danger, but it's the other one.
Patriot Games?
It is Patriot Games.
Why did I think
The other one, yeah.
The other one.
Hey, one name, and I'll just say this. So the alien is voiced by Seth Rogen.
Yes.
What? No, God. What the heck?
It's a male name. It's one name, because trust me, like it would be really impossible for most people to figure this one out, because this movie flopped really bad.
This movie tried to capitalize on Hot Fuzz and did not.
Yeah.
But forgot it. It is.
It's Paul.
I love him.
Paul. Let me punch in because it's a bit dark.
Oh, Planet of the Apes. The second
Planet of
one?
the Apes from 2001. This is the Mikey Wahlberg one.
That's the Tim Burton one too, right?
I don't remember.
Shit.
You know this one.
Oh, this is gonna kill me. I know each and every one of these people. I know what's. Oh my god.
You give a chat a big head start.
I hate that I'm just drawing a complete
Who?
blank.
Do you know who the director is?
No.
All right. Biffer got it. It is Super 8. It's from Steven Spielberg.
As many times as I've seen
One of
that
his worst
movie.
one.
One of his worst ones.
It was
I know
odd.
you know
it was
this
odd,
one.
but I liked Super
I've known all of them so far.
I
know.
liked it. Oh gosh. Yeah, I definitely don't know this one.
It's the Hurt Locker.
It's the Hurt Locker.
Of course, it's a war movie. I stay away from war movies for the most
Well,
part, except for
it
Saving
was-
Private Ryan.
The good thing about this is it was made by a woman director
Okay.
Yep.
who did a phenomenal action work, and then she
Yeah.
never got any action films to boot.
No,
And she got an Oscar
She won.
for it.
She won. Yeah, she won the Oscar.
She
for this
won
one.
the
She
Oscar
was
for it, and
also-
she did a phenomenal job, and that she never got anything of worth after.
Wait,
this.
she was also married to James Cameron for a while too, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, and she had to stand in his shadow. That sucks.
Yeah.
Evening,
Hi,
Big
Big Mike.
Mike. Evening. Welcome.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
God, this movie is so
No.
fucking awful.
This movie is awful. by
How
the way.
old was she? I don't even know what this is.
One of her first
movies.
roles when she was
like
an
her
adult.
biggest. Like this is
When
right
she was-
after Lost in Translation.
Yeah.
She
right
was a
after it.
baby. Look at her face. She's, oh my god. She looked like she was like 20, 21.
It's the island. Oh God,
It's the island.
It's the island.
It's
Ah.
about weird clones. It's a terrible
Yeah.
fucking
It's
movie.
a terrible
oh God.
movie.
And it's also
Wow.
like almost 3 hours long. Ugh.
I know all my feelings know this one.
Yeah, I know it.
Is it a zombie film?
Not quite.
No, it's not. It has a lot of wanton violence in it.
A lot of violence.
And, yeah.
Chat has
We
already picked
forgot
it
it,
up.
but
It is
called
The
Raid.
Raid.
The Raid.
I'm about to look. Is it worth looking into?
Oh my God, yes.
Yes.
If you
Okay.
want to watch an action movie, it's pretty much almost an hour and 30 minutes of just nonstop action.
Oh, I
Yeah.
live for
It's
action. You kidding me?
crazy. It's so
It-
good.
I know it's not the same, but it's like John Wick, where it's like action per minute is like that.
Yeah, back to back to back
Yeah.
to back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right,
like
Bella?
that.
Which one is this? Pretty simple.
Oh, they spoiled that. It's already look. They got it.
War of the Worlds.
For
Another
sure.
Steven
Yeah.
Spielberg
For
one.
sure. That's a good
Yep.
one though. That's a good guess.
All right. That is it for this segment. That's
Oh,
10
that
out
one
of 10.
got me. Cause I'm
It's-
just like
Hey, I don't make it easy for everybody.
at all. Obscure ass movies. Where do you get these movies from?
I'm waiting for you to go into the 1940s and 1950s stuff, Matt. Because you were doing that on the couple of the first ones where I'm just like, how the hell am I supposed to know that? Oh yeah, it's a film from
Yeah.
1953 that 19 people saw once.
I would
Dude,
never.
I have a litany of files with, I told you, Man from Uncle and
Oh, the man from
Lagoon-
Uncle, yeah.
Deep Space Lagoon 9 or whatever.
I would
No, it's
say
the
a
creature
lot
from the
of,
Black
A
Lagoon.
Creature from the
Yeah.
Black Lagoon
Lagoon.
and something.
I
Yeah,
would
there's
never-
plenty of those. There's plenty of those. All right.
But I was about to say, I would say most of my movie knowledge start with 70 action films on up. Like, because those were the movies I got attached to first as a kid. Like Terminator, RoboCop, all of those like octane blow explosions and just like, they're not, even though the explosion's right behind them, it's not affecting them whatsoever. That kind of shit is what I,
Well,
Kinda
as
less
we've learned from films, technically an explosion can't hurt you if you turn your back to it and walk away in a cool demeanor. We know this. That's just scientific fact.
Yeah.
Especially if you put on sunglasses, oh, you are doubly not hurt. You are invulnerable to damage.
Glass protection and fire protection right there. Glasses. Your whole body.
All right. So if we're talking about explosions, let's just activate the alarm at floor 32. Dude, what good would that? What better than to call the fire department?
Well, it's more to just to raise an alarm that, hey, something is not right. So then if someone were to then infiltrate, then if one of the paramedics were to get shot, or maybe they realize that, oh no, there are people being held hostage, then they'd bring the police.
Yeah, I know.
I have another thing to add too while I'm at it. These fucking cops were just the most bumbling pieces of shit. They were irritating my soul. We're
getting to that. We're getting.
Wait. We're gonna have a tirade about the captain.
Yes, I want in on that. I will bury him. I'm sick of their bullshit.
We're getting to him. Trust me. Or now, so we're sending Carl's brother to check it out. He comes in and they have a struggle, and he breaks his neck in the weirdest way, but it's possible
by falling down the stairs,
falling down the steps, and saying "ah" as they break the neck.
He goes "ah,
ah." I'm dead.
Well, I did that. I love the line too, where he goes, "Come out, I'm not going to hurt you." Then he pops up and just shoots 4 times.
Okay, which brings me, and I've set this up, masterfully. Which brings me to the question, which we brought Bad Bella for: is Die Hard actually a Christmas movie, or is it not? Please, Bella, start.
It is,
and while you do that, by the way, I'll do this.
Okay. It is 1,000,000,000% a Christmas movie. I am so sick of this narrative that all Christmas films is either a family film or some bullshit romance with Susan come back to her hometown and meet some guy and he turns out to be Santa Claus. It's bullshit. It's 1,000,000% a Christmas movie. It's Christmas throughout the whole damn movie. He came home or he came back to his town for Christmas. It's all Christmas. It's Christmas. I don't care. There can be Christmas action movies. Hell, Home Alone is a Christmas action movie. Like, just because it's a family movie too doesn't change the fact that a whole lot of people, well, mostly just the rappers, got hurt in that movie. It counts somewhat, okay? It's definitely a Christmas movie though, and I'm sick of the bullshit. I literally had to yell at somebody on Twitter about it.
Give us your take on this.
I have to wholeheartedly agree with Bella, except for the fact that Kevin McAllister, the kid from Home Alone, he wantonly murdered those 2 men. We've discussed this to death. He murdered those 2 men. And I think the rest of it was just some psychosomatic thing where he was dealing with the trauma where they kept like just pratfalling and doing these random jokes like, oh yeah, by the way, I caved this man's skull in with a paint can.
Right, how's he not dead? I don't know.
Yeah.
But this is not the Home Alone podcast. This is the Die Hard.
But for Die Hard, everything in the film is Christmas themed. The music is all Christmas classic carols. Everything in reference has to do with Christmas, even this situation. What's the first thing that he does when he has his dead body? He looks over and sees fucking Santa Claus. He puts a Santa Claus hat on his head, and again, right there goes, I have a machine gun now. Ho, ho, ho.
Exactly.
Tell me this is not a fucking Christmas movie? You are out of your goddamn mind.
Exactly.
No, because I'm Jewish, I'm not going to argue you. And we're going to move on. All right. So, because he overpowered Carl's brother, which, again, I don't remember the name because me and names, he has the communicator. So he goes up to the roof and he calls the emergency police channel, and he gets... Again, he gets the dispatch.
The dispatch is this is for emergencies. I'm not trying to order a motherfucking pizza. Like,
exactly. And it's like, oh, you'll be subject to being arrested. It's like, yeah, come here and arrest me.
Yeah,
Come,
please.
just come
Send
over
anybody.
and arrest me.
Idiots.
So what they do is they call Urkel's neighbor,
Mr. Winslow,
Mr.
one
Winslow.
fucking cop. I'm
Mr.
sorry,
this is
Winslow.
Mr.
This is
Fair.
Mr. Winslow.
In
By the way.
this role, his name is Al Powell. Okay, he is Officer Powell,
So
or Sergeant Powell. Okay,
this is Mr. Winslow's second appearance as a cop. The first appearance is what? Oh my
Family
feelings.
Matters.
No, the first appearance
Really?
as a cop
Oh,
was
that's
him in the jail in Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's had 3. Okay.
Yeah.
So he was
Consistently a cop.
So I don't know if you remember that
This is the
or
second
not,
one.
but Carl Winslow was a police officer
Yes. He
in
was a
Family
police
Matters.
officer. Anyway, the guy who I think his name is Reginald Lamont or something like that. Reginald something. The actor. He went for this role.
Yes. Yeah.
And he was frustrated because he couldn't get any roles. And he went for this role, and he actually literally talked to his mom, and he said, "Look, this is like the last audition I'm gonna go to. If I can't get anything of significance, I'm just gonna quit and go back to whatever I did before acting." And his mom said, "Don't you worry, they will hire you." He got into the audition as Wesley Snipes walks out of the audition. And he goes into the audition and he says, "Well, I can read this, but you really need to hire me regardless of this audition." 2 weeks later, he got the part. He's like, "Fuck it. If this is the last one, I'm going to go for it." And it's like, well, this job is mine and you'll give it to me. And
oddly enough, it was right after this movie. That's the reason why he got hired as Carl Winslow.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it was like, and then he got that syndication money.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's in
I don't even care if I have to hear did I do that 1,000,000 times a day? Yeah. Pay me by $110 million. I'm good.
He's set. Mr. Winslow is set for life. Okay. So after this point, Carl and the gang go upstairs to take revenge, and our boy McClane needs to get away. How does he get away? Through the elevator shaft. Now, I'm stopping here because this is a shot from above to the stunt guy who actually missed and fell for real. Now, he didn't fall into this entire elevator shaft. He fell for about around 20 feet and landed on a big bag they set up for him. But the shot was so good, the cinematographer said, "Oh, we can use that. Just give me a..." He talked to John McTiernan, the director, and he said, "Just give me a shot where he literally grabs the elevator shaft and I can make it work." And they did make it work in the editing, which made a very, this is one of the most iconic scenes of the entire movie, is him missing it and actually grabbing, the elevator shaft. And it was done by a mistake. And it was done because they wanted to rush the production as much as possible due to other factors that, don't belong. They rushed a lot of They rushed a lot of the production due to the fact that they were shooting a lot, and it was an active building. So there were people in the building.
It was an active building.
Complained about the noise,
and also given the fact that your primary antagonist has to do all of the scenes at night to begin with, so they have to rush all of the scenes that they can shoot without him when they can, as fast as they can. So they can do all the stunt shots back to back to back to back to back during the day while he's off set. Then when he comes in, he can do all the actual acting bits.
Exactly. So, but not only that,
I find it funny too. Is one other thing I didn't really get a chance to talk to you about on the behind the screen segment was the fact that originally the script was supposed to be written that this whole ordeal was supposed to take place over 3 days.
Yep. There was another.
They condensed it down to 1 night.
Yeah, and there was another thing that was supposed to be in 3 days, but we're gonna deal with it almost at the very end. Also, by the way, just on the side note, after all this ordeal, this all also gave birth to the meme.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Come out to LA. We'll have a few laughs.
Exactly. I had to put it in there because it's so iconic now. It's just a big meme.
Sorry, I butchered that. Come out to the coast. We'll have a few laughs. That's the correct.
And he said another thing. And now I know how a TV dinner feels. And is the most 80s thing to say ever.
Right.
Yeah. So, Mr. McClane does manage to go into the back to Takagi's office, and of course he deals with 2 guys. He shoots one, the other one climbs on the table, shoots, and of course he says, "Well, just don't run away." It's like good advice, and he shoots him from the table upstairs.
No, he goes, "Oh yeah, just to be sure, if you shoot, you better kill someone."
Yeah,
when you
better kill someone.
And he shoots him from underneath. Which, by the way, from the way the blood pack spread, like, yeah, you shot him right in the dick first. Ow!
Exactly.
Ow! Come on, McClane. That's a little brutal. I know the guy was an asshole, but come on.
And after that, we get another iconic scene. After everything, because he does get a communicator, right? And wait. Literally, Al Powell is downstairs checking everything out. He's like, "I'm out," and he also goes into his car. He tells dispatch, "Well, there's nothing here.
There's nothing."
Dispatch.
And this is a scene I wanted to bring up because it reminds me so much. Like, oh yeah, Collateral just basically sold this scene. This is the realization of one of the protagonists. We're like, oh no, we are in a completely fucked up different situation when a corpse lands on the hood of their car.
Exactly. And of course, by the way, for the longest time, I don't know why, but I thought it was John who shot the car. It wasn't John. It was just the guy downstairs.
No, the other guy
later
downstairs.
on shot the rocket. He was like, he saw the body fall, and he decided, well, the jig is up. Let's just kill that cop.
Let's kill the cop.
And he shot at the cop, and he drove back. And of course,
and that's where you get the other big
timing.
The big line where he goes,
"Welcome to the
party, pal."
Right from the window. I'm like, John, this is not really helping your case right now. They're already looking at you like that.
Exactly, and of course, he talks to Al as he's literally trying to wipe his own blood, and of course, it's sort of a 3-way conversation where Hans is joining in, because every time John is talking, he knows that any information he gives or gets back, the terrorists, as we think they are terrorists, know about it.
Yep.
And of course, he doesn't give his real name, and he does say, Hans says, "You're a cowboy" or something like that, and he said, "I like Roy Rogers." And then he literally goes out from the office as all of the guys who want to see where he is come in, and he's like, "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker," and he disappears. Literally,
which actually, what's really funny is because John McClane says, "Well, I always picture myself more of a cowboy." He's like, "Well, like what? You're supposed to be like John Wayne?" Like, no, I'm more like Roy Rogers. He goes, "All right then." He goes, "Well, yippee-ki-yay," because Roy Rogers said what? In a show.
He didn't quite say yippee-ki-yay, but it was...
No, he would say yippee-ki-yay, yippee-ti-ki-yay, kids.
Okay, yeah, because it
And
was
originally,
a kids show.
Yeah, because originally Roy Rogers was supposed to say what the original line that they written was "Yippee tie yay, motherfuckers," and then they were given the other option of "Yippee ki yay, motherfuckers," and Bruce Willis went, "Yeah, no, the second one's way better."
He literally worked on that segment with the guy who they hired to rewrite the whole script.
DeSalvo, yeah,
because the original guy got literally fired from the movie he wrote.
Stewart did, yep,
yeah, and they brought in the Martin. It's Martin
they brought
D'Souza.
No,
Martin DeSalvo.
Steven DeSalvo.
Steven Salvo. Anyway, they hired him because he was
it's Steven D'Souza.
D'Souza?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he was known for A, he was writing fast, and B, he knew how to bring levity. And that's what they were looking for, because the basis of the action was there, but the guy who originally wrote it didn't quite know how to write comedy, and D'Souza did. So he was the one that was working on the good parts, but he had like 35 pages and they needed another 90 plus. And he wrote it as they were shooting the movie.
Yeah. And also the original concept of the film was very dark.
Yeah. Very, very dark.
Nobody lived at the end of the original, by the way. Almost no one lived. There was John McCain, who was John Ford in the original script. His wife, that's about it in the whole building.
Oh, no, that wouldn't be right. No.
Everyone else just kind of died. Merry Christmas.
Right, that's way too dark. That's over the line. Come on now. This isn't a horror movie.
Yeah. All right. So we do have a little bit of interaction. Again, I have to jump forward in the movie. Of course, John McClane steals the detonators, which sets up something else, which we'll touch upon in a moment. But we do have the interaction between Holly and Hans, where Holly is kind of being forced to be the representative of the whole entire crew because she was second in command to Takagi. And this is before Ellis steps in. All right. So they do have that interaction where she says to him, look, we're going to have to do some sort of a bathroom line or something like that, or else you're going to be stuck with people messing themselves. Right?
What I love is her condescension toward Hans immediately shows what a horribly and just awful person Hans is, but how strong of a character Holly is. How fiercely independent she was, especially for a woman in the 80s. She's an executive. She already talked down. She was able to lambast and talk down John McClane to begin with, which was like, wow, that's a hell of a feat. And then talk to Hans Gruber, and the first thing she says to him, like, well, don't worry about it. I don't want to be in your presence any more than I have to. I just have to let you know these certain things. One, the pregnant woman, yeah, she's not about to give birth, but she's very uncomfortable. Can we put her on a couch somewhere? We'll have a couch brought up. Is that okay? That's fine. And also, unless you want a very messy situation on your hands, we need to set up a system where these people can use the bathroom.
Yeah. All right. That was
but still, how indignant and how strong of a character she is just indicative of how great of a character Holly McClane is. It's just
right. I
love it.
Touching on Mr. Dwayne here. We're going to circle back to him in a bit. Dwayne, is it the deputy chief of police or something?
Deputy chief of police, yeah.
He's
almost as bad as Richard Thurberg. The goddamn terrible reporter that we get to later.
The scene where he wants the car to go to Nakatomi Plaza has already passed at this point, but I just want to touch upon this. Dwayne here, Mr. Center in the Middle, also typecast along with is it Philip Etherton? Something Etherton, the guy who plays the reporter.
Yep.
Always typecast as the annoying, antagonistic person in a movie that throughout the 80s and 90s, it was like always that son of a bitch
Wait,
that is not quite on the villain side. He may be on the, let's say, good side, but he's a hamper. He's an obstacle.
Wait, am I correct? He is also the principal in Breakfast Club.
Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. It's sort of
thought.
that. It's sort of that role of those kind of characters that those guys played, and there are several of these in Hollywood that only play those foils or like Michael Ironside. He was great as a villain, like in Total Recall, and even when you go to like Starship Troopers, where he played the teacher, he played.
The drill instructor. Yeah,
the guy. He's not the drill instructor. He was
he was the sergeant that was leading the battalion.
Roughnecks. Yeah, he's the lieutenant.
Because he gets killed, and then
he gets killed, and then it's Rico's Roughnecks.
Rico takes over. Yeah,
but he basically plays the same type
character.
Of character.
Well, that's Michael Ironside. But
yeah. Like I said,
Joey Pants has the same kind of thing where he plays just a slight different myriad of roles, but they're either somewhat antagonistic or they are needlingly annoying characters. That's Joey Pants' forte as an actor.
So I'm gonna again push it a little bit forward. The cops at this point, literally try to break in. They try it with the four guys doing 2x2s, and then they send in the car, the RV. And of course, they get blasted by.
Because that was Theo. He was like, "Oh, look isn't that priceless? They're bringing in a truck."
The cops have themselves an RV. That's what I'm saying. The guy who plays Theo, he does it so well because he brings a lot of comedic elements to a very tense situation.
Yeah,
very tense situation. So they shoot the armored car. They blast it. And of course, John is like, I need to do something because there's people down there. And he has one brick of C4 and all the detonators. So he puts all the detonators in the thing. He puts a big weight on it and just sends it off down the elevator shaft. The entire, it's the first floor, I would say. The entire first floor gets blown out. And of course, the stupid, what's the name of the reporter again? I've seen this movie four times this week.
Thurberg,
right. Thurberg's like, tell me you got that. Because that's all that's important, that you get the shot. It's like, fucking media, man. Anyway, everything gets blown out. And I want to get to a specific point. Excuse me. You know what? Yeah, everything gets blown out. John McClane is literally sitting in full rubble. He's like filled with ash. Everything gets blown out. And of course, Dwayne is like, Alice is calling John. He's like, are you okay? Everything's okay. And Dwayne takes the thing. He's like, what do you mean okay? He's like, do not help us. We do not need your help. And John is like, dude,
like, who the fuck are you? Put the other guy on.
Yeah. Dude, it wasn't me who just got butt fucked on national TV.
Right.
Put the other guy on and shut the fuck up.
And Dwayne immediately just goes, "You're Al."
And the good thing about it is, Argyle has the CB radio, and
he's loud. He's sitting in the back. He had a little mini bottle of scotch. He's sitting back there drinking it, just laughing his ass off, like ah.
He was listening to that entire exchange on the CB radio, and he was like, ah, "You fucking bitch!" Oh, it was so good. It's those little moments that take the full action genre and just give it a slight twist. And this is the moment where every action movie had to have some sort of levity, some sort of something to
lethal weapon.
It was done in 48 hours too.
Yeah.
And it was done by the same writer.
Yeah.
But not like this one. Lethal Weapon had levity. 48 Hours had levity, but not like this one. AKA the movie we're going to cover next month, Tango and Cash, which was an awful movie.
Yeah.
But it was too filled with comedic moments rather than being purely action.
Where it became superfluous and slapstick, but yeah.
Yeah. We're going to discuss that later. But yeah, I love that line. I love that line. It just literally shuts down Dwayne almost in an instant. And from this point on, he's basically ineffectual because the entire police is ineffectual. Even the FBI people that come in, rather ineffectual. Really.
Johnson and Johnson.
No, it's Johnson. Yeah, it's Johnson and Johnson. But as when Johnson and Johnson come in, the first Johnson comes in is like, "I'm Johnson. This is Special Agent Johnson."
And the other one says no relation. Really, one of you is African American and one of you is clearly Italian.
Yeah.
Wow, you're not related.
Robert DeVee.
No Wow.
Yeah, Robert DeVee. Up until this point, I think I've only seen him as the bad guy in other movies. So, case in point, Goonies. He was the bad guy in Goonies.
Yeah, you're right.
But he was a bad guy in in TV series. He always been cast I think he was a bad guy in Miami
Vice.
Miami Vice. He was in one of the episodes. He was a bad guy, so he was like a bad guy character actor. He comes in here. He's supposed to be the good FBI. Turns out he's a real shithead.
Oh yeah,
he's a real shithead.
We're gonna get to how much of a shithead he is later. Where he's like, "Yep, we're expecting about 40% civilian casualties." What?
Right. So. Right. So before we get to the meeting between McClane and Hans, which is beautiful, we have one more thing. We have Ellis. And I like the fact, and one of the best sentences in the world is being not only an LA guy, not only being super yuppie, he has the most Hollywood line ever is Hans Booby. I'm gonna give him to
Hans Booby. I'm gonna give him to you on a platter.
I'm gonna give it to you on a platter.
On a platter.
And also, had you noticed throughout the entire film, every single time you see Ellis, he's going,
"Oh yeah,
oh yeah,
oh yeah,
cocaina."
Yeah, cocaina. Exactly.
I just say. The Coke in his glass is not the only one that he is a fan of.
Exactly. She got that original one with the actual Coke mixed in.
Yeah.
Also, sidebar though, this dude, was he not one of the first cloud chasers? Because the way he just stepped in the office like he was big shit and just was like, I know him. We're good. We're friends.
I got it. Well, listen, I've had enough of this shit. What's going to happen is I'm going to talk to him and I'm going to handle the situation because I'm the big white dude and this is what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Hans Booby.
It's the most Hollywood. It's the most Hollywood thing you can ever say is, whatever, Booby.
Yeah.
It's a producer thing. It's a director thing. It's a West Coast yuppie businessman thing. I'm gonna get in there, and they're gonna listen to me because I'm so.
And I just think in the way that's so interesting is the fact that he literally talks himself into getting shot in the face.
Yeah.
In a way, I find it kind of funny because I don't know if it was supposed to be kind of like some kind of demarcation of the kind of people that the screenwriters have been dealing with while they were in Hollywood, where anyone could like, well, I could go into a room and I could talk anybody out of anything. Where it's like,
probably. No. It was probably like that.
I could see it as a demarcation or a denouement of that kind of person. But
just think about who's writing this thing. Who are they dealing with on a day-to-day basis? It's producers, directors, Hollywood executives, all that stuff. Like if you're writing this, if you're like the head writer or the head rewriter, it doesn't really matter. You're dealing with high-level people, like studio people, all that. So you get inspired when you can put one of them as a token people. Just change the name, change the title. He's even below Holly in terms of rank in that place.
Which, by the way, he hates.
Of course he does.
Which is like, Bella, you find that really funny, is the misogyny was so completely obvious there, where he was even trying to downplay her in front of John when they first met.
Because he said, "Oh, we gave her the watch.
The watch.
It's like the Rolex."
It's like,
show
it to him. Show it to him.
But remember, it also serves another thing that I love in movies, where it's a not obvious setup for a big payoff, because that watch was the thing.
Was the sayonara.
Was the sayonara. Exactly, Bill. Exactly.
Take your watch back.
Exactly.
No, go ahead. Enjoy that shit.
That's what I love, when it's a it's a non thing, but it sets up the payoff right. Like it could set up a payoff later on, because there's a moment real late in the movie where you get the conversation between Al and John, where Al literally says, well, it's a weird thing that I'm here because I've been strapped to a desk because I shot a kid accidentally. And I don't want to hold a gun anymore. And it was a sort of a line where you expect at this point, because it's really later on, because they already form some sort of a bond, because he's a East Coast cop and that's a West Coast cop. So they talk cop, or they talk profession.
Sure. Well, because even from the beginning, Al was like, well, I'm pretty sure this guy's a cop, when John was using the pseudonym, because they're like, well, yeah, because I could tell that their IDs are fake.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're very, very well made.
When he tells that story, it also is a big setup for literally almost the last scene of the movie.
Which,
or
oddly enough,
is the last scene, but it's one of the last moments of the movie.
But which is funny, because the trope is Chekhov's gun. Which is what sets it all up.
Exactly. So Bella will run us through Alan Rickman doing an American accent.
Oh God.
Go ahead.
God. So his American accent, I actually rewatched it right before popping in, while I was waiting for them to quit diddling with the sink. And I was just like watching like how he perfected it, because his natural British, he is British, right?
He is British.
I know it's from the UK. His natural British voice is very deep, but his American accent is like a pitch or two higher, and it's like pretty damn near like perfect. And I just kept watching it like, is this like a voiceover? Is this actually him talking through this? The way he just came to the scene was like, oh my God, oh, you're one of them, oh my God, please don't hurt me. I'm just like, this motherfucker, he's just, you really should be an actor. I mean, I know you're an actor, but like the person in the movie should have just been an actor instead of whatever the hell he was doing, because he was just perfect. He was perfect for it. And the fact, though, that John was just so smart to notice his lies, the name and everything. And when he handed him the gun, I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing, sir? Sir, what the fuck are you doing? But then he tried to pull the gun, and then, oh, sorry, the clip is empty. Because I could have sworn I seen him reload it, but maybe he reloaded it with an empty clip. I don't know.
He definitely, and I've watched it several times. He did put the clip in. You don't see the clip full. You just see him shove it in.
Clip.
And he also he also cocks the gun, but when he cocks the gun, if it's a normal thing, you would have seen the bullet. When he cocks the gun, he does it very slowly, and you do not see the bullet go into the chamber as he cocks the gun and hands it to Hans. Now, the great thing about this scene is, first of all, Alan Rickman is a magnificent actor. He always was. May he rest in peace.
Peace.
He had. It was easier for him to do the accent, and it was harder for him to actually handle any firearm because he came from the UK. He never held a gun in his life until that movie. And one of the problems they had with him is that he held the gun and his wrist was always going downwards because the guns are heavy. And they literally had to tell him to hold it firm. Right. That was one of the problems. To do the American accent, they told him, look, we need you to do an American accent because we need the two guys to meet, but we want the McClane character to not be able to recognize the German accent. So you can't do a British accent because it's very European. You have to do an American accent because you would expect an American to be an American company inside an American building. Even Takagi, he's a Japanese immigrant, but he doesn't
he's a firstborn.
No.
American citizen.
He's an immigrant. He's an immigrant.
Well, I thought his family
He's
were
an immigrant. They immigrated in 1937, and they put them in the internment camps. In 42 or in 41. Sorry.
Yeah.
But
my bad.
He was born in
I thought
Japan.
I thought he was actually born in the States.
They're right. 6 years old.
But at this point in time, he actually would be an American citizen now. But
he's definitely
not a natural born.
And when you see him talk to John, he doesn't have any Japanese accent at all. He spoke like an American would speak, right? So Alan Rickman had no issues doing the accent whatsoever. They told him, well, you have to pitch it like this, and you have to do the different R's, and that's about it. And he immediately done it. It was super easy for him. The gun, however,
beautiful.
And this whole scene is about, we know, because we've seen Hans and we've seen John, and it's the first time we get to see them together. And we know that if John gives the gun, it's like, no, don't give him the gun.
Right. Like, stupid.
We shout at the screen, and that's the reaction that we're going for. Exactly the reaction that we're going for in this scene. And it just perfect. I liked it. Just one more taste on screen of just the face that he does is priceless.
Yes. The panic. He turned it on so smoothly, though. It was just like the minute he seen him, it was just like panic eyes. I'm like, you son of a bitch, you're way too good at this. You're way look at that. That is ridiculous.
No, you're one of them. No, please don't shoot me, please.
Right. I was like, this is bullshit. He about to die, bro.
Exactly. Right. So he also notices that McClane isn't wearing any shoes, which kind of sets up the whole point of, as literally, I know what you want to talk about. It sets up the fact that him and Carl and a few others, but they get killed, so who cares?
Yeah,
they literally ambush John, and little Hans says, "Well, shoot the glass." Now I didn't.
No, he says it in German first, and Carl, who apparently can speak fucking German, goes,
"A what?
What?"
Yeah,
this goes back to the actual actor doesn't actually speak German. They kept the one shot in where he couldn't comprehend what the fuck Alan Rickman was saying. So Alan Rickman would shoot the glass. And they kept that in there.
It was intense, though. I'll give them points.
Yeah.
It's the thing. It doesn't make sense, but the scene goes by so fast, and all we're concentrating is the fact that, oh, they just met, and Hans knows he's without any shoes, so that kind of sets up the whole scene. So they shoot the glass, and Johnny isn't even thinking about the detonators anymore. So he literally tiptoes across glass, hurts his feet, but he leaves the detonators behind. And the detonators are important because you need those to explode the roof, which was planned all along. Because the whole plan was Takagi is definitely not going to give us the code. So we're going to force our way in. We're going to activate the magnetic seal and the FBI, because that's their protocol.
This is on that one, on the protocol point. On this point, this is a beautiful interaction between Alan Rickman and Hans Gruber and Theo, because Theo's like, listen, if we do anything, the electromagnetic seal is going to shut it down. We're fucked. Like we will not be able to get in. He goes, don't worry, wait for it. And then all the power goes out, and it goes, standard FBI protocol. They're going to cut power to the building, which will shut off the electromagnetic locks. You asked for a miracle. I gave you
the FBI.
Like,
and before that, by the way,
it's so good.
To make sure it's a Christmas movie, he asked him, "What about the seal?" Because he asked him several times about the seal. One of the times he asked him, it's one of the earlier times, is like, Theo, it's Christmas. It's the time of miracles.
Yeah.
But he doesn't specify because he has to leave it till the end.
Yeah, and they say that this is not a Christmas movie. Meh.
They don't know what they're talking about. Scrooges. They don't know.
I like the fact that when they're talking on the outside,
and getting all set up too, where it's like, oh yeah, by the way, you want to shut down, what was it, 11 city blocks on Christmas Eve?
That's messed up.
Are you crazy?
Yeah. And the guy's like, well, we can do it from here. It's like easy. And for a minute there, you think, oh, he just shuts everything off. What he does is literally he calls Central, which is exactly what the fucking his supervisor can do.
Yeah.
It's just, that's stupid.
Wires were crossed a little bit there.
Dumb. It's just dumb.
But also, there was more the supervisor was like, oh, no, I'm not going to be the person who is going to be to blame for making that call.
Right.
You can call dispatch and tell them that they told you to do it, but not on me.
Right. Before we get to the big explosion and the helicopters, which we have to talk about, we're going to talk about this scene, and then we're going to go for our second segment. This scene is something that is left behind from the original script, where the guy who did the original script literally, like I said, my feeling said, was saved from a car crash. Was it a car crash? And he
had a near fatal car crash.
Yeah, he had a near fatal car crash.
Yeah,
and he was like, I can't stay mad at my wife because it could be literally my last day. And at this moment, this is where John is thinking, I'm not going to live this. I'm not going to survive this. So he tells Al, and he's literally about to cry. He doesn't cry, but he's literally on the verge of tears saying, if I'm not going to make it, please tell my wife that John says he's sorry. And it's a touching moment to give us the other side of the big macho guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's like he realizes, I've been an asshole. I've been stubborn. We got to have a little bit of closure if I die. And
which, if you think about it in a way, this is kind of one of the most endearing action roles ever. I believe this is one of the first, especially big 80s action films where the big star actually shows even a moment of weakness, of sentimentality at all.
And to think,
I mean, the only kind of, well, sorry, go ahead.
Stallone turned this down because he thought the character is weakling because he keeps running away. in the script, it looks like he keeps running away from the terrorists to be alive. But, as we can see, definitely not.
No,
At all.
no.
Definitely
What he's doing, it's a constant state of guerrilla warfare. That's what John McClane is specializing, especially in this film.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, let's go for our second segment of the night, which is Cinema Deathmatch, where we take two movies, pit them together, and see which one is the better one. If all else fails and we have two great movies, the criteria is Friday evening, Saturday evening, out with the boys, out with the girls, out with your significant other. Just two movies. Which one will we put in and watch? So, Amelie and the good, the bad, and the ugly. Bella goes first.
Outside of the fact, go ahead.
Did you watch both of them?
I've only seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm gonna be honest. I've not seen Emily, but I will say that the good, the bad, and the ugly has, oh my goodness, some good actors in there. So as much as I'm not a fan of cowboys, I'm gonna lean towards that. I might be a little biased though. Because I haven't seen the first film.
Biffer said Amelie. What do you
think?
No,
but I was gonna say, well, as she hasn't seen it, do a reroll on Amelie.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
X2.
You see X2? Okay. Now, Bella, now you can.
Now you can. Now it's tougher.
Have an informed decision.
See, this one's a little harder now because, as you already know, I'm a little biased to Cowboys. I am. Sorry. But those are some good actors, just respectable legends. But the nerd in me wants to say X-Men. You know what? X2. I'm going X2.
X2. Okay. My feelings. Yes, please.
I have to go with probably the best spaghetti western ever made. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
It is very long and sometimes very, very slow. But when it goes, it just goes.
It goes.
And the music is just wonderful.
And it is so. The music is iconic. So, yeah, let's go ahead and do. Haven't seen it for How to Play Football because I think I might be the only person.
I have seen it.
I have seen it.
I have seen it.
I have not.
Yeah.
No problem. All right.
Oh, that's easy.
Easy. Yes.
Bella.
For me?
Anaconda. Oh.
You're going Anaconda?
Yeah.
Nice. All right.
It's a nice little action flick. Yeah, it's kind of stupid, but it's like one of those movies you sit down with your friends and you laugh at the stupid parts and you're in awe by the giant ass snake. So, yeah.
Well, because the Anaconda had John Voight was the antagonist. It had Ice Cube in it.
Yeah.
And Miss
Jennifer Lopez. Yeah, Jennifer Lopez was. I think that was Jennifer Lopez's first acting.
I think it was either this or Money
film.
Train.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about Money Train.
She looked great in it.
Well, she always looks great.
Right.
There's only one problem. It's not a good movie.
No, it's not.
For me, it's a cornball movie. It's the movie you talk through with your friends, you know?
Yeah, no. It's Little Miss Sunshine for me.
That for me too. It also has to be a Little Miss Sunshine. I really love that movie. As how heartbreakingly sad some of it is. It's okay. Do a reroll on the good, bad, the ugly. Do a reroll on that.
Do a reroll.
Do a reroll on that one.
Keeps coming back.
Okay, now here we go. Okay,
much better. All right, I'll go first. It is Batman Returns. Even though it has problems, it has Danny DeVito playing a weird kind of penguin. But it is Tim Burton. They kept the aesthetics from 1989. They've added in a absolutely fantastic Catwoman.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
She did a massively great job, even though she suffered through that latex. Fucking insane. Plus, 101 Dalmatians is a Disney movie. Therefore, it must
I know,
burn.
you hate it.
Oh yeah, okay, I can understand.
Bella?
I'm connecting the dots now. I personally love both of these films. I'm huge on Disney movies, unfortunately. As I was brought up on Disney, but Batman is one of my favorite DC protagonists. I gotta go Batman though. I like the campiness. I like the shitty campiness. I love Michelle Pfeiffer looking like a whole fucking dinner and dessert. It was great. Okay, I loved it. It definitely Batman Returns.
Name a better Catwoman.
Eartha Kitt.
Oh, you got it before I
Fuck
did.
you.
Damn it. Yes,
Fuck
he's
you,
right
bitches.
though.
You two guys have to leave now.
No, we're right though.
Perfect.
We're right. Hey.
I'll take Michelle Pfeiffer's camp to Eartha Kitt's camp. I have you know.
Oh,
Right, Road to Perdition or Hulk. It is
That's
Eric
Ang Lee's
Bana
Hulk. That's Ang Lee's Hulk.
Yeah.
It is Ang Lee's Hulk.
I know it.
Right. Choose. Saf says Road to Perdition.
I'll go. Road to Perdition because, oh my God, the antagonist in that film is by far one of the most unerring and creepy villains of all time.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say Tom Hanks.
Jude Law is...
Yeah.
Oh,
Tom Hanks does a non-Tom Hanks in this.
Yeah.
And it's gorgeous.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
I'm be honest, I haven't seen this.
Too bad. It's a winner. I don't care. Because
Okay.
Hulk is...
Yeah,
we can all agree Ang Lee's Hulk was an awful fucking film.
I can't bring myself to vote for that Hulk. I just can't do it, bro. That's why I'm just throwing it out.
Plus, the chat over here overrules everybody, so it's going to be By the way, Bella, if you have a moment to go and watch it's pretty dark.
What kind of film is it?
It's pretty dark.
So the entire premise is essentially like an aged gangster is on kind of the run with his son.
Okay.
And quite frankly, someone is out to kill him. And it's you can take it from there. I don't want to ruin the rest of it for you. It's such
dark.
A movie.
All right. By the way, Bella, just because we're on another Disney movie, I also grew up on Disney movies. I grew up on these Disney movies and 100 Dalmatians Disney movies.
Yeah.
All right. This one is pretty easy for me. I love the Ocean series, especially the first one.
Yeah, Ocean's 11
it's
was amazing.
one of it was in my top 20 of all time until I recently knocked it off. Alice in Wonderlands is by far my favorite all-time Disney movie because it is weird, it is stupid, and it is wonderful. And it is dark as fuck.
Oh, this is facts. There's a lot of allegories.
So it is Alice in Wonderland.
Bella?
Definitely gotta agree with you there. I'm not sure. I really wasn't a fan of Ocean's 13. I liked the first one a lot, but the second one was like, and then the third one was like, what are we doing here? But Alice in Wonderland has so many quotable moments, and then it kind of seemed like you're on drugs the whole time. I don't know. This movie is so fucking weird, but I love it. The Cheshire Cat, the Queen of Hearts. That's my bitch. I love her. She's insane. She's everything I would want to be in a fucking animated film. So, it's got to be Alice.
Oh, my feelings?
Off with their heads.
Off with their heads. Last pairing. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh, this is terrible. This is
this?
gun wrenching. Right. Attack of the Clones, episode 2, and The Social Network. Who wants to start with this pile of shit?
I will. I am only going to give it The Social Network because Trent Reznor made the soundtrack. That's it. I'm done.
All right. Go ahead, Bella.
But death, though. Is death an option? Can I just... No, this is terrible.
I abdicate.
It's terrible. I didn't like either one of these. Social Network just dragged and oh, don't get me started on Attack of the Clones. Oh.
Let me say this, Bella, before you
it's
decide.
so bad.
People give a lot of credit to the prequels because they've seen what today's Disney Star Wars is, which is, in my eyes, a travesty to humanity, or a travesty to
the legacy of what
trilogy,
Star Wars was.
a trilogy that shouldn't have been touched, and it shouldn't have been touched by George Lucas by this fucking prequels. I hate the prequels. I hate what they've done with the new stuff. I just completely out. I'm checked out of Star Wars. I have not seen episode 9. I don't remember what it even called.
Don't.
I have not seen it, and I haven't seen it on purpose. I know exactly what went out. I know the exact synopsis. I know everything. I suffered through the Social Network, and all I can think about is this guy is running our day-to-day lives even today, and he is just as bit of an asshole as he is in the movie. Jesse, what's his face? Did not save
Eisenberg?
it for me.
Yeah, Jesse Eisenberg.
Jesse Eisenberg just makes me hate Jesse Eisenberg more. And he makes me hate fucking Zuckerberg as well.
Yeah.
So, because both of these are crap and dog shit, I'm going to go with Star Wars just because it says Star Wars at the beginning. The rest of it, no.
Okay.
I'm sorry. That was a big convoluted thing to say. I'm going to go with Star Wars.
No, that was good. I like how you kind of like you vaguely picked. So I'm going to try to do that. So we got Star Wars. Some of them I like, mostly the early shit. A lot of them I don't like. Also, my ex was a huge fan of Star Wars and made me sit through all of them in a non-stop fucking, oh my God, I don't even want to think about it. Just like a marathon of all, old and new. And I'm just like, I know you like them and that's fine. I like Star Wars from a distance, but this is too much. Social Network, I like Jesse Eisenberg, even if he does act the same in all his films. I'm going to choose Star Wars because Star Wars, and that's it.
Uh-oh. We have a 2-2 vote. We have a 2-2 vote.
No, we haven't.
Oh,
Before and I with Social Network, you both with Star Wars.
I told you last week in confidence. I want you to be able to do the controls I do, just in case I can't do them. Remember? Now that you've, I'm just kidding, of course.
Oh no, I'll take over, and everyone's like, "So I win." You're wrong, Meth.
Exactly.
I win.
Win. Yes, that's exactly what's happening right here. All right. So,
get to our conclusion.
Two things before we try and wrap up this bad boy. Well, 3 things. First, I want to touch on the helicopters, because we all know that John gets in it with Carl. They beat him up, then he hangs him. Easy does it. But I want to touch upon this part.
Yeah, where he pulls. It's a very Johnson. The one Johnson puts the military cap, puts it on backwards, puts his head on, and goes, "Wow. We're going to fly in there. We're going to gun them down. We're expecting about 40% casualties of the hostages. But that's it." And he goes, and the one thing he screams like, "Ha! It's like I'm back in Saigon." The other Johnson goes, "I was in elementary school, you asshole."
Yeah, exactly. It just gives us a little bit of not really a backstory, but a little bit of characterization on who are we actually dealing with. It is Robert DeVee's character. He literally asks Johnson, and Johnson actually says, "Look, we're expecting 25% casualties of the hostages," and Robert DeVee is like, it's acceptable. It's like, excuse me?
Yeah.
Jesus.
At one point in time, they say that it's acceptable to up to 40%.
Up to 40%.
25 to 40%. It's like that's a big swing.
Yeah, it's a big
but okay.
swing. And the other thing I want to touch upon, except for the actual scene itself, is the backstage stuff of this. Do you have any notes on this, on my feelings? If not, I can interject.
No, not really.
All right. So the whole helicopter scene from the outside, not from the inside, the outside parts where they flew in Los Angeles is it was one of the last scenes because they've done so much like explosions, shots, and everything in the building. It literally disturbed not only the people who were inside the building, it also affected the neighborhood, but because there are actual people who lived in the neighborhood and they kept hearing shots and lots of cars driving and explosions and everything, and they were fed up. So the city actually limited the production for 3 last days, and they came in, and on the first day they got a call from City Hall, and the City Hall said, well, I know we said 3 days, but it actually is 2 hours today or something like that. And they literally set up about 12 cameras. So 3 along the route, then on the roof, then below looking up and all that. They set up all the cameras during the day looking for the nighttime. By the time they reached the nighttime shoot, they literally started the shoot, and immediately on the first, as the helicopters went closer to the cameras, they literally had a call of complaints. So, and of course, City Hall called again and said, look, you have to finish this as soon as humanly possible. So the entire sequence, which is about less than a minute, and in outside shots, of course, like outside shots or shots from the helicopter doing this, the whole wiggling into the building, everything was done in 30 minutes. A shoot that was supposed to be took 3 days, cut down 2 hours, done in 30 minutes flat for the entire sequence. And that is unbelievably fast if we're dealing with Hollywood production. It is unbelievably fast. That is a tidbit of information for that helicopter scene. Also, the people who did because they had to do the exploding helicopter, but they couldn't do an exploding helicopter near a fucking building. They went to a production company. And who was the production company? Oh, my feelings.
ILM.
It wasn't ILM. It was Boss Studios. The same guys who did Ghostbusters. The original
the former ILM people.
Former ILM people who knew how to shoot things under budget and fast.
Fuck. Yep.
And again, we reach a movie where, because of constraints, budget-wise, noise, all that stuff, we get to see a gem of a movie that was done in a rush, weird takes, the thing with the stunt guy who fell, the thing with the actor who they spoke German to but couldn't understand, so that he spoke English to, all that stuff that was on the go, on the move. The script, which was not ready as they were shooting, as they were beginning to shoot the movie, all of that kind of conglomerate into something really, really special. All right. So we get a big explosion. The chopper falls down, and we get a line from Dwayne saying, we're going to need some more FBI
guys.
Perfect.
I love it.
Just perfect. And of course, they get to open up the vault, get everything out. Of course, I didn't mention the fact that Thornburg got to the McLean residence,
which, by the way, shows what a massive piece of shit he is.
Yeah.
He tells the housekeeper, like, I'm going to call INS on you. And then at that point, when he knows that is not going to get her to say anything, she says, well, this is going to be the last time the children might be able to ever speak to their parents. It's like, you rotten motherfucker.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's the same character he played in Ghostbusters. It's basically
as the EPA guy. Yeah.
It's the EPA guy. Right. Yeah. So, of course, Hans watches the news feed and the kids are there. He discovers about Holly, takes her in as they clean out the vault. And Theo goes downstairs, and this is the moment where Argyle is
our boy gets to save the day.
As he's trying to get out. And this, by the way, a bit stupid because he sees all the screens going down and he doesn't try to ram them. But after he punched Theo, he actually does ram one of the screens to get out.
Yeah.
A bit weird, but we'll take it.
Also, we have to take into consideration this is technically Argyle's first night limo driving.
Yeah,
and if you recall,
he doesn't want to hurt the limo. But he already wrecked the limo, ramming into that ambulance.
I'm being pedantic here, okay?
Yeah, I know. The thing is with the actor who played Argyle, they had a few takes where he did the punch and it wasn't believable. So John McTiernan said, just let him have it. So he let him have it. And when he punches him and then he does this with the hand, it's actually a real thing because he did hit him. Not the jaw, but he hit him physically with he went into the bus, right? And he hurt his hand, so he did like this, and they kept it in. And it looks like he's smiling, but he's actually grimacing. It's like, yeah, like this. It's weird, but it's one of those moments where you capture cinematic gold, and it's forever there.
But awesome. Then also, as I said before, we're going to get to Al's point in saving the day, but at that point in time, Argyle was one of the most, effective side characters of all time by making sure that they don't get away. Theo was the only one that was going to get away at this point, but still, he would have gotten away with some of the bearer bonds.
Yeah,
and he prevented that from happening.
Yeah,
by being an ancillary character and just going, you know what? I like this John McClane motherfucker. I'm just going to sit back and relax and sit in the back of my limo and laugh as he makes fun of these guys as he's brutally murdering them throughout the entire film.
So, of course, it's time for the showdown. Bruce, or John, has 2 bullets, of course, tapes it to the back of the head, knowing he's going to go like this. And at the opportune moments, he gets 2 shots. By the way, there are 3 robbers there, but one of them he overpowers by literally striking him in the face, taking him out. He's not dead, but just he needs him to takes him out. And of course, he has 2 shots. One going to Hans mid center mass. One center mass, and one into the head of the guy who was the guard downstairs. And Hans,
the more important thing is just the trajectory of it.
It goes through Hans and into the window as Holly ducks, which is important because that as soon as he goes out, it's into the break. But he literally pulls Holly with him as he falls. And I like the fact that happy trails, Hans. Just before Hans literally falls out the window. And of course, the Rolex, like we said, it's a payoff from before. The Rolex is what keeps Holly cling to Hans. And we'll have this shot as he still holds the Rolex. And I have to, sorry. No. Thank you, PC. Thank you. As he's about to shoot. And of course, the Rolex runs away and we get the meme. And of course, please, oh my feelings. Bella knows. What did Dwayne, the deputy chief of police, says as he watches Hans fall from the Nakatomi building?
Oh my gosh! You know what? I
know you know all my feelings.
I just
it's very simple. Oh my feelings. What did he say?
It's very simple, but it's really funny. He goes, "Oh, I hope that's not a hostage."
Oh
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. He said, "I hope it's not a hostage," because because they don't know. Because they actually don't know what's going on in that building. Because they saw a massive explosion on the top of the building.
They saw two with the FBI helicopters blow up. By the way. Yeah. And then they're completely incommunicado. They don't even know what's going on down below because when Argyle shows up later, they're all pointing guns at the limo that's pulling out, and John's like, "No, it's okay. He is with me."
Yeah, he's with me. So, first few things happening when they literally at the end scene, everybody's calming down. Like you see, fire brigade, all the EMTs, everything is there. Of course, all the media is there, back again, and John McClane and Al Powell kind of lock horns or lock
eyes.
Eyes, not horns. Horns is like this.
That's
right?
an antagonistic motion.
That's an antagonistic.
Lock eyes.
So they lock eyes.
There's that realization where they go,
they
friend.
They crack a smile, and of course, Carl comes back to life. I'm gonna stop at this. Carl comes back to life, and all we see is a gun going once, and Carl doesn't fall, so it goes again, and Carl doesn't fall, so he empties out the gun, and we see a beautiful shot of like the gun in focus, and then Al Powell in focus as he holds the gun after he shot. Beautiful shot of Al Powell saving John McClane and his wife.
So then right there again, we got Argyle saved it, and then now Al gets to save it. So yeah,
beautiful.
And of course, because Thornburg was such a massive asshole.
The reporter, where he goes, "So, how do you feel about this?" And Holly just socks him right in the face.
Just smacks him in the face.
Right, rightfully so.
Rightfully so, because he was an asshole.
And when Argyle pulls out, and he actually has his hand out, and he's waving like, "I've had a hell of a time. I don't know about you, but I had a ball." And what does he say to John McClane and Holly?
Yeah.
He says, if these are your Christmas plans, I can't wait to see what you guys have planned for New Year's.
Oh, yeah.
And that sentence was so perfect. Again, we just had such a tense moment. He dissolved the tension with that sentence. That levity. And literally sends us off to let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
They drive away off the
Christmas song.
And you have exactly. And with not really, but a Sinatra song. It's not originally Sinatra song, but it's the version Sinatra sings, I think. Yeah. Not sure. Could be somebody else, but it's the same baritone voice. And it's perfect because, again, it is a Christmas, rather very familiar Christmas song, but it also gives you this all started with the old Blue Eyes, Sinatra himself.
Yep.
Awesome.
Loving the
awesome. Let's do a summary. Bella, give us a little bit of a summary.
A summary of what?
Stuff you like, stuff you didn't like. Personal attachments, history with the movie, anything you like.
Okay, so
just to round up everything that we talked about. You don't have to do any verbatim thing, but whatever you like.
I was just about to say, I don't know why this scene sticks out to me, but the scene where Carl, aka Chris Jericho with long hair, is shooting at him in the air vents, it was just like he's just laying there and he just has a feeling he's up there, and then he just starts poking at the vents. I was just literally just on pins and needles, like no. And then his friend comes in and says something in German, and then he leaves, and I'm just like, yeah, yes. I don't know why that scene is just so just like that's the one scene for me that just sticks in my head. And it's like amazing things. A lot of things happens in this movie, but that scene for me, a few other ones, of course, but just that one is like my favorite scene outside of the one-liners that they do, like the one he did in the window after the guy fell out the window and onto Carl Winslow's car. Like I just love the action and the quippy one-liners. I wish movies was like this now. Like it's just so octane and the right amount of comedy. This movie to me is more Christmas than any other basic bitch Christmas movie they make now. So that's what I got to say.
So it's better than Elf.
Yes, it's better. Look, I like Will Ferrell, but he can get annoying as fuck. Okay,
I hate Elf.
He's just so obnoxious. He's just.
Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. All right, all my feelings. Please give us a rundown. Just anything that we maybe haven't discussed.
We covered pretty much everything I really wanted to talk about. Just again, I have to reiterate that the fact that Argyle and Al Powell are two of the most underrated side characters of all time. That besides, yes, this is a quintessential Christmas movie. Again, I don't care if you have an opposing argument. Your argument's wrong. Deal with it.
Right.
Other than that, this movie is first and foremost just an absolute joy to watch. Even I would say I've seen this movie at least 100 times. At least.
Yeah.
I love this movie so much. It's up there with my favorite Christmas films of all time. Meth, I've already told you my favorite. Belle, if you didn't know, my favorite one is actually The Ice Harvest, which is a movie that is not very lighthearted. It's very funny, but it's very black humor. Very dark and very, very morbid humor. It's funny, but it's a good movie. But this movie is right up there with the movies that we reviewed so far. Scrooged, Die Hard, Ice Harvest.
All right. For me, because I was kind of introduced to Bruce Willis as this type of role, for me, Moonlighting, I watched Moonlighting after watching this. When this came out, I was not in the appropriate age to go watch this at the movies. There was no one to take me to the movies at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only movie that I remember going around like 89, 88, 89, 90
mm-hmm.
by myself without my parents is actually Back to the Future 2. And I went with 4 or 5 of my friends, and we all went in for free because the guy, the friend that we went to with, his grandfather ran not the complex. It was a one theater. He ran the theater. So we went in for free.
Mm-hmm.
But going alone to a movie or going with a friend who was my age to a movie at 88 for this kind of movie, that was a big no-no. But there was a lot of promotion where I lived about this movie, and there was a whole hullabaloo. And of course, I watched it a year later, and ever since I watched it on like VHS. It was so good because even at that age, the little humor points were not, didn't pull me in. It's the action that pulled me in because, it's like preteen.
Yeah.
But later on, I appreciate the humor in it because I've managed to already watch Moonlighting. And the humor in Moonlighting is very much the
on the same level.
Early John McClane in certain points, in various points. the way he talks to himself, the way the small quips on the radio, everything is just good. And that's what I like in when Bruce Willis is on point and he loves the project. It's awesome. By the way, go watch my reaction to Die Hard. It is on this channel.
Mm-hmm.
Go watch it. There's certain points there that made it in the edit. A lot fell out because, copyright, but a lot of points that I tried to make is that. Also, go watch yes, I know it's self-promotion. Go watch Hudson Hawk. Same kind of quippiness, same character, but turned up to like 15. So John McClane turned up to 15 is Hudson Hawk. For everybody else, shit. For me, awesome. But yeah, there's certain elements in Bruce Willis's acting that I fucking love. In this one is the right balance. In the other ones, maybe not. But in this one, they just captured a lightning in a bottle, which they managed to capture in Die Hard with a Vengeance, but not really in...
I don't think in Die Hard 2 or Live Free or Die Hard, which is Die Hard 4. Which, yeah. No. And then we don't talk about the fifth one.
They couldn't capture the quippiness of it all. The one line.
I think
one
Die
that makes
Hard...
the movie Die Hard rather than just a regular run-of-the-mill action movie.
Well, because I think he needs ultimately John McClane needs some kind of affable, not nitwit, but affable some sort of sidekick that can deliver those kind of quips can also kind of save him in certain situations. Die Hard with a Vengeance had Samuel L. Jackson in that role. And by the way, I still think that's one of Sam Jackson's best films. I
Interesting.
do believe. I love him in that movie.
Oh, I do. I love him in that movie. Plus, he's not playing a nitwit. He's smarter than John McClane in that movie.
I used the wrong terminology there.
I'll give you a pass because you're excellent and I love you. Anyway, before we leave the podcast, we have to do this. The short version, the short version of Die Hard. Regular Die Hard, not with a Vengeance. All right? So, without further ado, here we go.
Okay, here we go. The short version.
Relax, I've been a cop for 11 years. Just drive, Argyle. You've missed some. Show 'em the watch. Well, what do you know? Ladies and gentlemen, you're just gonna have to shoot me. We have a fire alarm on the 32nd floor. Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho. Come up here and arrest me. Come to California, have a few laughs. Thanks for the advice. Welcome to the party, pal. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Oh my god, you're trying to get in. Send in a car. Send in the car. It's gonna need a paint job and a shitload of screen doors. It's not me who got butt fucked on national TV, Dwayne. I'm Agent Johnson. This is Special Agent Johnson. No relations. Oh no, you are one of them. Shoot the glass. You ask for a miracle, I bring you the FBI. Merry Christmas. Come home. I'm gonna cook you, and I'm gonna eat you, just like Saigon. Blow the roof. We're gonna need more FBI guys. Happy trails, Hans. Oh, I hope that's not a hostage. If this is your idea of Christmas, I gotta be here for New Year's.
That was perfect.
Awesome. There we go. That is it for the Reel McCoy for the year of 2021. Yes, Bella, thank you for joining us for this last podcast of the year. Please, guys, if you want to go check out Bella at Bella Ent on Twitter and on Instagram, or you can just go to her Twitch channel and go hang out there at Bad Bella Games. of course, you can always bug me at Mephisto on Twitter or Mephisto79 on Instagram or Mephisto79 at gmail.com. Your suggestions, your qualms, your whatever for the next year as well. Everything. Please join us. We're still looking for somebody with graphical kind of inclinations to maybe improve. We're working on big improvements, which will start January 1st when we come back, because we're going to take a Christmas break to have All My Feelings enjoy his Christmas with his family. I'm going to enjoy my Christmas with my family, doing absolutely nothing. But I do have a token. Oh, I do have a token Christmas tree, which I'll have here. And of course, I did buy some ornaments just to hang there somewhere along the old Middle Earth. Right. So I'll say good evening to you, Bad Battle. Good evening to you, All My Feelings. Good evening to you, a lovely crowd. And I hope to see you on January 1st when we will discuss When Harry Met Sally. A perfect New Year's Day, not New Year's Day, New Year's Eve, but of course we can't be here New Year's Eve. New Year's Day movie. We'll start off the year with a rom-com, shall we? Yep. Right. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, have a great evening. Have a great weekend. And Merry Christmas to all.
You filthy animals.